Hello and welcome to the YouTube channel of Team Blush. Team Blush is a project that I have had for the last year or so, and the project and channel revolves around the documentation of, starting a drift team. As of the current moment, I am the owner of this drift team, and you couldn't really call it a team. I am the only member of the team right now, and this is the only vehicle on the team right now. This is a 1989 Nissan 240SX, and the channel currently is revolving around the build of this vehicle into a hopefully capable streetable drift car. And once it is to that point, the channel will more than likely revolve around my learning how to drift, because that's something I haven't even done yet. I'm trying to create a drift team, but haven't even learned how to drift. So that is coming in the future. As a team goes, in the future there will be other members and there will be other vehicles featured on the channel. These vehicles more than likely are going to stay within the late 70s era to the late 90s. I don't believe this channel is going to skew too far from those years. Some goals that I would personally like to see from this drift team, whether or not they happen is another story, but they are goals and potential content for the channel. Obviously, I want to learn how to drift, and I want to build this vehicle behind me to the point that I am able to do so with it. When I get to that point, I want to travel and I want to drift this vehicle at certain tracks such as Park, Grange, US Air in Wisconsin, and some others. While attending events, learning how to drift, and doing that sort of content, I really want to start giving individuals free ride-alongs. This whole passion of mine started after I personally got a ride-along at an event, and I would love to give people that experience myself. And in terms of the team, I think the end goal that I would like to see is to be to a standard and quality in both vehicle modification and in driving that we are invited or are accepted to an event called Final Bout. And that is a drift event where they have the most stylish cars that you can imagine in the country and some of the most stylish driving styles in the country, to have a multi-day event of driving and showmanship to further excite people about the stupidly expensive and stupid time waste of a hobby that drifting is. And just that grassroots style of drifting really speaks to me at the moment. And I just really want to see the drift team reach that level. So without rambling too much, I hope that gives kind of an overview of what to expect from this channel. There isn't really a timeline that I can personally guarantee. This is an expensive hobby, and between life stuff and just kind of learning along the way, it can be a bit of a time sink. So I hope that you will follow along with myself and potentially the rest of the team in the future. And we'll quickly just go and overview this vehicle if you haven't seen it on the channel before. And thanks a ton for checking this video out and checking this channel out. I hope to see you more in the future. So this is the current project car of the channel. As I said previously, this is a 1989 240 SX. For the most part, this vehicle has not changed very much since I got it in 2019. The only difference is that it is now a manual transmission vehicle instead of automatic. And I have also gone ahead and changed the entire cooling system on the vehicle to a Mishimoto setup with electric fans after the OEM radiator did have a leak. So let's just start our way from the front of the vehicle and work our way to the rear. As you can see, while this S13 is in really good condition in terms of not being modified, there is definitely damage that has been done to the vehicle, and in one sense that does suck, but in another sense it does make it a lot easier in the future to modify it because it's not in that perfect condition that makes me scared to go ahead and actually change things. So let's go ahead and we will pop the hood. With the hood of the vehicle open, you can see that this car has the KA24E motor, and like I stated previously, we have upgraded the cooling system to a full Mishimoto setup, and our coolant tank reservoir has been changed to a GK Tech OEM style as well. That is all that has really changed in the engine bay of this vehicle. When purchasing this vehicle in 2019, it originally had 18,000 miles on the odometer. If we come around right now, we can see that it almost has 25,000. Now, whether or not I believe these numbers to be actually correct is another thing, because in the current state of the vehicle, there is a really bad squeal coming from the block of the engine, and whether or not I'm correct is another thing, but I believe that to be a crank bearing slowly failing, and that may give you a hint as to where this build is going in the very near future. So let's go ahead and get the hood back down and start taking a look at more aspects of the vehicle. With the hood back down, you can definitely see that the paint on the vehicle is in pretty rough shape. Originally, the windshield of the car was broken when purchasing it, and that has since been replaced. For sake of the video and keeping it as OEM as possible, I have put back on the original wheels that came with the vehicle, and these are not alloy wheels. These are just steelies with a plastic hubcap. This vehicle is a sunroof top, but as you can see on that side of the vehicle, there is paint. That is due to the fact that there was quite a bit of rusting right where that really white spot is. So that was stripped back. The repair was done to the vehicle to get rid of the rust, and not really caring about the paint due to its wear and age, and honestly not being much of a fan of the color, we went ahead and just spray painted that white just to make sure that that rust did not come back. While actuating the sunroof, it tends to bind and is another issue with the vehicle, as well as you can see it is beginning to crack along the edge. So given all of that, the sunroof will more than likely get deleted in the future due to how hard it is to find those parts and how expensive they are. With that, we can now move into the interior of the vehicle. And please forgive me, this is a daily driven vehicle, so there is going to be a little bit of mess. But as for the interior, it is in really good condition, save for this rip, and a little bit of scuffing on the driver's seat. And of course, this crack in the dash, given it is indeed an S13. They are very notorious for doing that. But other than that, It is a really clean car. You can see my fire extinguisher in the back seat, given this is an old vehicle and you never know what could happen with it. Another thing that these S13s are notorious for is for having rusty frame rails. So really quickly, we can just dive underneath the vehicle, and in doing so, you can see that the condition of the frame rails on this vehicle is actually pretty good compared to what you'll usually see on the marketplace. And the same goes for the opposite side. Moving towards the back, we'll go ahead and we will pop the trunk. With the trunk of the vehicle popped, you can see that the rear of this vehicle is actually in really good condition. The only issues are with the decal. The X is starting to rip off, and that will get removed in the future. And another issue with the vehicle is the moisture that soaks into the rear carpet due to a leak in the taillight that has yet to been fixed. With that moisture, there is a very small hole in the bottom of the trunk underneath the spare tire that has yet to be fixed as well. As far as S13s go, this is a really good platform, I believe, to begin building a streetable drift car. And I hope that in the future you will follow the channel and follow the build, as well as potentially any other vehicles that show up on the channel. Any updates that are not done on the channel will be done on our Instagram, and you can see that in the lower right hand corner of the screen right now. If you have already been following us on Instagram or YouTube for the last year or so, thanks a ton. I hope that you will enjoy the content that comes in the future, and believe me when I say that this year, this vehicle is not going to look the same at all as it does in the video right now, and that's one reason I've made this video, because this year is going to be great. Thanks for watching.